Good morning, children. Hope you are doing good. I hope you all are safe. So, children, today I am going to start new chapter number 9, economic importance of bacteria and fungi. So, what are bacteria? Bacteria comes under the kingdom Monera. I told you according to the 5 kingdom classification, they comes under a kingdom Monera, and they are the most primitive unicellular organism. Their cell is made up of one cell, and the one cell is able to do or perform all the life processes. So each bacterial cell contains the single chromosome. They do not have the membrane bound nucleus chromosome. Based on the number, they are so many, they are numerous in number, and they are present in everywhere, in our air, water, soil, food stuff, inside our body, outside our body, in the mouth, in the mouth, on the skin, inside intestines, in the genital tracts. In the intestine, some bacteria synthesize the vitamins, that is vitamin B, and some bacteria are useful. We can use them for the in the different industries, like medicine industries, for the production of antibiotics, serums, and vaccine. In the agricultural industry, for the nitrogen fixation process, for the tanning of the leather, curing of the tea. So different industries we are using it. So they have the useful role, whereas they have this harmful role also, because they spoil the food, they cause the disease, not only in the animals, in the plants also, and they can act as a bioweapon also. So they have the useful role also and harmful role also. Based on their size, they are average size, they are 2 micrometer long and 0.5 micrometer thick. On the basis of shape, if they are just spherical, it is called cocci. If they are rod shape, it is called bacilli. If they are spiral in shape, then spirilla, and then comma shape, it is called vibrio. If they are present in the single entity, we will say the cocci, but if they are present in the pairs, we call them diplococcus. Same as if they are present in the form of chain, as you can see in the picture, it is called as streptococcus, and if they are present as a bunch or in a group, they are called staphylococcus. So you should remember these names. Next is, you can see figure 9.1, diagrams are given. So comma shape, you can see that it is looking like a comma. So Vibrio cholera is there. Cholera is the disease which is caused due to the Vibrio cholera. So this it is Vibrio is there. So you can understand that it is a comma shaped bacteria. Now spirillum, you can say snake like. So it is a magnifying image of the Vibrio one. Now structurally, it is made up of protoplasm, means cytoplasm, and bacterial chromosome. They do not have the membrane bound nucleus, as we know. So their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, which is a complex carbohydrate, and not of cellulose like plant. Their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, same as they have the thin cell membrane under the cell wall. So you can see here, this complete diagram is given. Cell membrane, first one, and it is enclosed in a capsule, and capsule is a slimy protective layer of bacteria. So here capsule is there, cell wall is there, then cell membrane is there, inside it cytoplasm is there, which contain other glycogen granules, plasmid, which is a circular DNA, and same as bacterial chromosome, you can see the thread like it, and it is attached with the cell membrane at some point. So it is written also here, the chromatin material is in the form of single circle, which is called the plasmid, and it is not enclosed in a nuclear membrane and is attached to the cell membrane at some point. Same way, movement wise, few bacteria, they can move through the wind, water, and through the contact also. But some bacteria, they have the flagella. You can see here also in the diagram, they have the flagella, they have the two flagellum. So they have the flagella. Through the flagella only they locomote, they move from one place to another place. Based on the nutrition, they are heterotrophic. They do not have the chlorophyll pigments. They do chlorophyll pigments, so they do not do the photosynthesis. They cannot prepare their own food, so they are heterotrophic in nutrition. So in this category they have the two types of nutrition. They follow the two types of nutrition: saprotrophic and parasitic. Saprotrophic, as it is written in the brackets, you all know from the lower classes also, that drawing nourishment from the dead and decaying organism. So they take the saprophytic organism, they take their nutrition from the dead bodies of the plants and animals, whereas parasitic, they need a host. So they are just searching the host for their nourishment. So this is the difference. So respiration wise, some bacteria are aerobic bacteria. They need they respire in the form in the presence of oxygen, and some are anaerobic, so they do not need oxygen for respiration. Reproduction wise, reproduction wise, they reproduce asexually, like binary fission. In the class 8 I have explained you the binary fission. So from the one parent bacterial body, we will get the two, as you can see here, after division of the nucleus and the cytoplasm content, we will get the two daughter bacterial cell. So here they are showing. Remember always, first DNA duplicates, you can see here, first DNA duplicates, and then from the middle part only, this membrane constrict, and it is divided into the two bacterial cell wall. So you can read, the cell expands and the two DNA pull apart, as you can see in this third picture. The cell constrict at the middle, separating the two cells. You can see the figure 9.3, and they then in some cases, some bacterial, they can attach like this only. So it is written also, depending on the type of bacteria, the two daughter cell may either remain attached or may be separate from each other as an independent cells. So you know. So next point is that I told you that I have explained you that a highly primitive type of bacteria, few bacteria, they reproduce through sexual reproduction. So in that case, if they have the different strains, I told you, I have given the I have explained you in the Zoom class. I have shown, I have made the picture also, and explained you that if they have suppose plus and minus strain of the same species, then they will form a tube like projections, and then with that tube only, by the conjugation method, the plasmid DNA transfer from one strain to the another strain, or you can say positive to the negative. So then after getting because negative is devoid of that plasmid, so or lack the plasmid, so positive will transfer the plasmid through the conjugation method to by forming the tube like extension, and so the positive one act as a donor cell and the negative one will act as a recipient cell. So I have explained you this only. Next topic is that bacteria, they form the spores to overcome the unfavorable condition. So it is written also, so whenever bacteria find any unfavorable condition, like you can see 3 points are given for tolerating the extreme dryness, or for the protecting themselves from extreme temperatures or boiling point and freezing point, or some poisonous chemicals. So what they do, they are in that case they start forming spores. You can see here, spore wall is there, bacterial wall is there, so start wall, and they remain till that unfavorable condition will over. They will remain in the as a spore formation, spore formation one. So it is also written here that spore formation in bacteria is not a method of reproduction, but it is a simply escaping unfavorable conditions. So always remember that reproduction occurs through the asexual or by binary fission. in case of bacteria. Spore formation is the only way so that these bacterial cells can protect themselves from unfavorable conditions. So we have already discussed this checkpoint also in the Zoom class, so you just do by yourself. Or so now, what is the useful role of bacteria in the medicine? So I told you, so in the medicine industries, for making the antibiotic serums or vaccines, a high variety of different varieties of bacteria are used by the different scientists. So what is antibiotics? So you know, whenever we fall ill, a doctor prescribes us so many medicines, and he or she prescribes us antibiotics also. So these antibiotics, they are the chemical substance which is produced by a living organism. So living organism, from they are the extract of the bacterial suspension, or you can say solution, which can stop the growth of the some bacteria that is causing disease, and fungi also. So what is antibiotic? It is a is extract of the living organism which helps to stop the growth of some disease producing bacteria and fungi. So today we all know that dozens of antibiotics. First antibiotics that scientist has discovered is penicillin. So the few examples are given. So all are the antibiotics examples, and they are very good, and they are widely distributed all around the world and used in the treatment of the numerous infections. So you can see here streptomycin, chloromycetin, tetracycline, penicillin. So penicillin is the first antibiotics, and it is made from a fungi, not from the bacterium. So it is a product of fungus. And how it was worked, because in the remember this thing, that in the year 1929 Alexander Fleming observed the some bacteria. So when he was doing his experiment in the laboratory, what he observed, he was culturing the bacteria. So he observed that in the bacterial culture, few bacteria remains only. Okay, bacteria is not growing. So and then he saw that some contamination of the Penicillium notatum, which is a fungus mold. So he saw that because of this fungus, Penicillium notatum, because of this only the bacterial cell are dying. So he discovered that this mold produce a substance, or inside they secrete a substance which suppress the growth, which stop the growth of the so many bacteria. That's why bacteria is not able to culture in a lab. So he got that idea, and he then tested, he done several experiment, and then he found that substance, he named that substance a penicillin. So penicillin has become the first antibiotic for medicinal use. It is very effective, but always remember that it is written also here that penicillin is the product of mold fungus and not a bacteria. Next one antibiotic is streptomycin. It was discovered by Salman Weizmann. So you should know, and its source organism was the bacteria. So Streptomyces graeceus is the source from which the scientist Weizmann discovered or produced the streptomycin. So please underline that, or remember always that Alexander Fleming discovered the penicillin, which is the first antibiotics from the fungus, and next Salman Weizmann discovered the streptomycin. He obtained from the Streptomyces graeceus, which is a bacterial species. Now same as you can see in this table, there are antibiotics are given, source organism is given, so you can see here, and disease related. So this penicillin is effective against the tetanus or diphtheria. Streptomycin, tuberculosis, which TB, chlorotetracycline, which scientists just extract from the Streptomyces aureofaciens, and erythromycin, Streptomyces erythraceus. So it is effective against the typhoid and rickettsial fevers. So it is. So scientists, before just producing an antibiotic, scientists observe few categories. They make a categories, they choose a category. So first category is because it is a very expensive process and it is a time consuming also. So they set some criteria to produce a good antibiotic. So first one is, it should be able to kill a wide variety of diseases. So its spectrum should be a broad spectrum. It can cover or kill the wide variety of bacterium. Second point is, it should not produce undesirable side effects. So obviously it should not produce the side effects, otherwise what will happen, it will harm the individual or patient more. So it should not kill normal bacteria. So you know, in our body we have the useful bacteria, gut bacteria, which is useful in the digestion or in the digestion process. So that should not be killed. So that antibiotic not harm the natural condition of our body. What are the other uses of antibiotics? First one is, as a it is used as a food preservative for preserving the fresh meat and fish. So it is act as a food preservative also. It is for animal feed also. It is used for treating, for controlling plant pathogens so that plant will not get infected, for killing the disease causing harmful organism. Disease causing harmful organism means pathogen. So pathogen is the causing the disease only. So to kill the disease, that pathogen. Next is serum. So serum means blood plasma. Okay, so we have the blood. So blood, liquid part of the blood is called the plasma, and if we will remove fibrinogen, which is a protein from the plasma, it has become the serum. So by the centrifugation method we can get the serum. So remember, what is serum? Serum is the liquid blood or the plasma only, but it do not have the fibrinogen protein. So remember, so blood plasma from which fibrinogen has been removed is the serum. So serum is the blood part which obtained from the plasma. If we will remove the fibrinogen from the plasma, so it contain what it contain? It contain the numerous chemical substances, and it contain the antibodies and antitoxins. So what are toxins? Toxins are poisonous protein, and you can underline, toxins are the poisonous protein which is released or which we get from the pathogenic bacteria, so that during their growth, on their breakdown after they die. So that is a poisonous. So in the live form or in the expired form or died form, we can scientists are preparing the toxins. So what are the serum? It is given that serum contains antitoxin, which is a chemical substance of a particular pathogen. So serums are used as a preventive measure for bacterial invasion. So it is basically a bacterial toxin. So when it introduced into the blood of a healthy animal such as horse or cow. So for preparing serum, a small dose of bacterial toxin. So how to prepare the serum? So serum, for preparing the serum, what we should do? A small dose of bacterial toxin means, bacterial toxin, you know, that bacterial extract or bacterial toxin we have to introduce into a healthy animal of cow or horse, or after that, you know, we all have the immunity, and against any antigen, this in horse and cow body will see that these bacterial toxin, they will find that these act as a antigen. So against the antigen, their body will form a antibodies. So when the body will produce the antibodies, or you can say antitoxin, so scientists or doctors removed from their body. So the body produce antitoxin to neutralize the effect of the toxin. So remember, first they are just introducing the bacterial toxin into the horse or cow, and whenever their body will produce the antitoxin or antibodies, they remove their antibodies from the animal's blood, and then they perform their functions. So after several injections, they will not get a desired reaction result at one attempt. So after several injections of the same toxin, the blood of such animal is taken out and they separate the clot, which is called the serum. So snake bite treatment, the same way the snake bite treatment involves the injecting the this antivenin from the antivenin which is produced from the blood of the horse. Antivenin or antivenom we say. So genetic engineering is the branch in which we can introduce we can inject or insert the desired human gene into the bacteria. For example, Escherichia coli, which is also called as E. coli, Escherichia coli, remember the name, underline it please, very important. So scientists basically use this bacteria E. coli for doing the genetic engineering, or for it is very famous, you can say it is very famous bacteria. So these bacterial culture grow rapidly and scientists will get the quick result. The particular gene dependent products are extracted from the bacteria. So you can underline this line, the hormone insulin was first such substance that is produced by E. coli. So E. coli produced the insulin also. So a few serum compounds produced by genetically modified bacteria are there are two names are given. First one is blood clotting factor 8 for the treatment of hemophilia A. Hemophilia is a disease, it is also called bleeder disease, in which that individual do not have the, or person do not have the clotting factor. So he is not able to, blood is not able to clot in his body. So this serum, if we will inject it, blood clotting factor 8, then this disease can be cured up to a certain level. Next is factor 9, so for the treatment of the hemophilia B. So these serums, genetically modified bacteria, we can produce and we can help in the treatment of the different diseases. So remember the name of the Escherichia coli, the full form, and this penicillin obtained from Penicillium notatum or Chrysogenum, Streptomyces. Then remember at least first two source organism name. So go through this chapter. In the next video I will explain you the vaccine. So thank you and have a nice day. God bless you all.